Yo, what up? It's me, Solar Loon. Hi. I'm an independent game developer. I'm the creator of Master Plan. I'm the creator of Tetra 3D, and yeah, it's I'm a creator of a indie game that I've been working on for a little bit, and yeah, everything's going okay. So, hey, welcome. Bird 51 says hi. Hello. Welcome indeed. Let's get some music going. Let's see here. Classic. There we go. So yeah, it's been a little while since the last stream. And even today I'm kind of tired, pretty tired, but I'll see what we can do. So if you've watched my YouTube channel or looked at my Blue Sky, you can see this project I've been working on, which is a GUI system, a GUI for Ebitengine games. Ebitengine is a Golang game development framework. That's what I'm using to make my video game in, and it works well. But the UI system, the UI offerings are just not really what I was looking for, and so I decided to make something myself. So basically, this is something I've been working on for a while. It worked fine previously, but it's just basically like right in the past couple weeks I've been like, I went back and reworked it because I wasn't comfortable with it wasn't easy to use enough. So this is a little example set that I'm developing. So I'm just gonna go through the examples in sequence. If you've watched my YouTube channel, you probably have seen that video, which outlines basically what this is. But anyway, we'll just go through the same examples. So this is a cool little example. Firstly, it just draws a red graphic, but it draws it in this space. So basically, GUI allows you to set up a layout. You can go ahead and like draw things to that layout. So this is working fine. The next example is a button, which has a label and of course a graphic, like a background. It's a 9-patch background, very nice, very comfortable. And the label allows you to do shadows, colors, and outlines, which is very nice. You can press it with the X button. Very cool. You have button lists like this, which is very nice, of course, very useful. So the layout system basically allows you to specify a function to control in what order or positioning and size the elements that you draw to the layout are positioned. So GUI comes with a default one that fills up the entire layout like this, but you can also use another pre-made function to basically like position things in a grid or a list, which works well. This is a cool little one as well. You can make custom layouts. In this case, it's basically a circular layout. Excuse me, a circular layout. Where the buttons are arranged, in a circle. But in addition, when you highlight any button, when you go from one to the next, it raises the button and makes it wider. So that's a very cool effect. Very polished, very cool looking. And then the next one, we have sliders. Very useful if you have audio settings, video settings, maybe quality settings, things like that. It's nice to have sliders. And of course, the label on top can be positioned to not be so weirdly positioned. Let's see here. I think this is the one. Here it is. I don't think this is working the way it should. Let me see. Oh, I have to say draw, yeah. There we go. Yeah, very cool, very cool. You have the ability to draw custom UI elements. In this case, I'm doing vector art using Ebitengine's vector package to draw a couple of circles. One is a line, a stroke of a circle, and the other one is a filled circle. And I'm drawing it twice, once on the left and once on the right. Those are two different layouts. But internally, the code is very simple. This is it. So a UI custom draw is an object that basically just allows you to draw things to the screen. Very useful, very nice. And then in addition, you have the ability to set up a layout map or multiple layouts from strings. So you can basically indicate like, oh, you know, this is the ordering, this is the positioning and size, the proportions of different different layouts. So you can see I have layout A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and H. And that's exactly what we have here in our string set. So this allows you to control a GUI kind of overall, make multiple layouts at a time that all have, you know, a set size and position. So useful if you have a game where, let's say, the protagonist's portrait is in the top left, followed by a horizontal health bar, and then at the bottom middle there's the message box, and then at the right of the message box is, you know, maybe the portrait or something like that. So it would be nice to be able to position those things in a more kind of like blocky way, where you can, you know, make changes and draw things, and then once you have everything set up, if you don't like it, you can just rearrange or re-proportion individual elements without having to do a lot of math. You can just be like, oh, well, I want this to be a little shorter horizontally, and that bottom right to be a little wider. And so you get this effect. So very cool, very nice, very easy, very easy. So I'm pretty happy with this overall. I think that this is really, really, really good. Much better than it used to be. This used to be much more complicated to do. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, so there used to be like an additional layout type that like encircled an additional layout, an original layout, and like would slide whatever fulfills that layout, like whatever, you know, is selected, you could like slide it horizontally or vertically or whatever. That's no longer necessary. It doesn't have to be this weirdly unusual system. We can just use we can just basically do that manually ourselves without having to make things odd and uncomfortable. So the odd and uncomfortable. So this is what the text looks like. The code. This is what the code looks like. Very easy, very straightforward. We're creating a layout. We're aligning it to the screen. We're setting how many buttons to draw and the overall size of the circle that they're positioned in. And then we are setting our custom layout here, where we're making the rectangle and then passing it, basically creating the draw, setting it to the draw call, and then returning that. Yeah, pretty straightforward, not too complicated. I like this a lot. I think that this works really well. I'm wondering if I should make this a pointer rather than returning a new instance, but like on the one hand, I don't know. I don't know if I want it or not. I'm not sure. But overall, this is pretty straightforward. The code is super small, super light. I love this, where it's like I'm not adding things to the UI. To like when you add things, you have to specify an ID, but you only have to specify an ID for the root item you add. So if you add a root like a button, and then under it you specify as its graphics multiple other images or other UI elements, those things you don't have to add to the layout for simplicity and just for ease of typing. So I like that. It feels like I'm setting like just the bare minimum to get things visible, with some sensible defaults here and there, and it's working really well and it's looking really good. So I'm happy with this. I think this is a successful like improvement, just a straight up improvement on the way that this used to work. The code is much simpler to use. It feels like it's simpler internally. It's great. Wonderful. So yeah, I'm happy with this. So what we're going to do is, I guess we're going to try to move our GUI system over to the new system. Shouldn't be too difficult. We'll give it a shot and see how it goes. Yeah, less typing. It's nice. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out what I want to do here. Oh, we don't need this. Yeah. Okay. Oh yeah. This would be. Oh, that's true. I wonder if it would be better, because buttons usually have text. I wonder if it would be better to you know what? For convenience, for convenience, I'm gonna do something a little unusual. Just thinking, hold on. Let me switch up the music a little bit. Oh, wait. I guess I could do this more simply now I think about it. Okay. 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 So something like that should work. Okay, so something like that should work. Okay, so this should work. Let's see if this does the way that I'm hoping it does. Okay, so it does draw. Yes, there's something drawn here. Just confirm if I remove this. Yeah, okay, it doesn't draw. Okay, let's see. Okay, hi. Very good, very good. Okay, here we go. So the main menu is here. I wonder why it's so, center left. Yeah, why is it over? We have to 9 patch it, that's why. There we go. Cool, cool, cool. Oh, I don't know if I can do this. Because this is probably not an original reference. Yeah, okay. Let me think. Okay, maybe I can do this. Hmm. Oh, you can't do that. Hmm. Okay. Not really what I want to do, but we can do it like this, I think. Hmm. This may not work. This text isn't being set. Elements of recursive. Label okay. We're setting the text label. Yeah, okay. So the issue, I think, is that see that elements I equals result. It's not storing them like that. This is a little complicated. Maybe I should rethink this. Okay, let's try something like this. To see what exactly is happening here. Yeah, they're both. So is result just not what I think it is? Huh, okay. Yeah. Result is just not what I think it is. So I mean, I don't think I need to do this, but we can give it a shot. Let's see. Oh, I do need to do that. Why do I need to do that? This is interesting. So E is a label whether it's here or not. So I'm not sure why when it comes into here I need to return label as opposed to E, because I'm doing a you know, a type switch essentially, like, you know, type check. And if so, then I set a variable, set a value, a field, and then return that value. But these should be the same here, label and E, because if it is a label, then E is a label before it, you know, before it does this. But anyway, whatever. Okay, so now the inventory is working. Okay. So realign it. Cool. Okay. Okay, cool. Inventory options and exit menu. That works. I would like to have it be more padding, so let's see if we can do that. All right, so let's try that. Oh, this isn't even what we're looking for. I say 16, then we should have 16 pixels of padding. That might be why. Okay, there we go, there we go. Very cool. Let's make them a little wider vertically. And make them have a little less space horizontally. There we go, a little bit more. Cool. We can modify it. Cool. Okay, let's see. Cool, cool. There we go. That looks pretty dang good. Yeah, not bad. Okay, let's keep it pushing. Oh yeah, menu state. Bruh. Cool. All right. Let's see here. Let's get this cursor target. There we go. Very cool. Okay, okay. We're getting there. We're getting there. Okay, it is working. Okay. Okay, so this is going to be a little more complicated because there's something that I know I'm missing. I know I'm missing it. So let's go ahead and see what this is going to look like. I mean, I guess I do assign. Yeah, I can't do that. Okay, hold on. I gotta look at this a little bit. Oops. Okay. Um. Okay. Oops. Okay, so the text box is there. The icon is in the right location, but the background is not. Okay, so this is what it looks like. It's because the fade is there. Okay, so this is what it's supposed to look like. That's correct. So we only need to do this if the fade is greater than 0. Okay, that works. Cool. All right. Not bad, not bad, not bad. Okay. Let's keep working. Let's see. So I could do something like that. It is blurrier than it used to be. I don't remember it looking quite so bad. Let me turn off this shader. CRT shader. All right, that does work. Let's see. Let's start with the options. Okay, so this is gonna be, I'm gonna have to like start making this kind of from scratch probably, because it's pretty complicated. I made some changes. I made changes, so let's try this. Gooey.ui image. Well, I guess actually we should already have it created, right? That's the whole point of frame. Let me see. BG pattern. Okay. Oh, I have to draw this using triangles. No, I got it. That's right. I do have to draw this with triangles. I forgot. Okay. Forgot. I have to draw this using triangles. I have to rework this. Oh, it doesn't have a geometry. No color scale either. Okay. Here's what we're gonna have to do. Let's make some change to the music real quick. Yeah, because I gotta think, brother. Huh. Just thinking about how best to approach this. Man, okay. So, like, I'm trying to figure out how best to do this because I would ideally, I think, like to draw everything the same way, but 9 patches are using like the, a very simple approach to drawing. Same thing for 3 patches, which is fine, but if I want to have looping, I mean, I guess you wouldn't want looping like a looping background and a 9 patch. Those two things are incompatible, but I don't want to have multiple draw setups or multiple draw options for that matter. So do I want a UI image specifically for looping triangles? Like, not really. Well, I guess that's fine now that I think about it, because a looping texture and a texture that stretches are fundamentally 2 different concepts, right? Because a looping texture does not stretch, basically. So I'm going to leave this the way it is, and I'm just going to make a different system for drawing things. For drawing looping textures. Okay. So we don't have either of those. There we go. This is draw triangles. There's no stretching. There's no clipping because they're clipped by default. Okay. Layout modifier. Okay. There's no geom. There's no color scale. None of this. Okay. Okay, so we're starting to be draw. Okay. All right. So that should do it. Let's see. . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . . Okay. Are you at 16? Oh, I can see you can't. Yeah, right like that. Okay. Cool. Okay, so this is the core concept here. Took some doing to think about it, but not horrible. So let me go back and see if we can make a example that works here. Okay. This works, but the issue that I'm thinking of... There's no way to rotate this, is there? No way to rotate it. It kind of blows. It kind of stinks. But that might just be the way it is. I mean, like, for now, at least. So this is supposed to draw. Why isn't it drawing? Oh, because verts has to be filled out. Okay, well, verts 0 does. Let's see. I guess I could just say. There we go. Okay, not bad, not bad, not bad. Now, what I'm thinking is a couple of different things. One is I can just say like this to make it loop. And then we just do something like this. Let's see. There we go. So that is correct. So we can scale it like that. Yeah. Okay. So there's a couple things we can do here. So we're gonna just do it, keep it pretty simple. So we have offset, which is a position. Let me take a look at something real quick. What is tetrahedral? Okay, so it's vector 2. I guess I can do scale factor, that would work. Cool. So this does work, but I don't like that you have to specify a scale factor. So what can I do? I can't think of any number that would make sense for a scale factor. Like a scale factor of 0 means unaltered. 1 would be twice as big. -1 means half as big. Yeah, nah, that doesn't sound good. But I don't want you to have to specify a scale. I think it's impossible unless I want it to be scale +1, which I don't. Scale +1. Okay, so that works. You see that line though? Those lines are not good. So let's see if we can do something about that. Cool. Very nice. So this works, but what if you want a source? No, that's probably correct. That's probably what this should be good enough. So let's give this a shot then. I don't know if I want you to have to make a vector for this. Generally, scrolling you wouldn't want to use a vector for, I guess. So maybe I'm fine not using one here. So offset could just be offset x, y. Okay. Okay, options area is here. So we just have to set the scale. So, am I missing anything? Offset? I don't think so. Frame BG. You don't need the offset. There it goes. Okay, so this is our menu background. So now we can just say offset X is just G frame. Oh. I feel like it moved faster before. Wait, how did I do this before? Oh. Huh, okay, pretty smart of me. Let's see. I might just copy the code. Excuse me, the code for this then. This is how I did it, yeah. So I use a source geometry to scale, and you could like rotate it and stuff. I see. I'm not sure if I want to do this like this time, even though I do like the idea of rotating. Like the issue that I'm having is that there's no function to create. Well, I mean, I guess you could. Okay. What I'm going to do, because you're probably not going to want to do too much, I'm going to assume that you probably... I feel like we could probably get away without creating a geometry matrix for this. It should be this, actually. I'm going to add the offset at the end. We probably don't want to round it off then, until then. Okay. All right, and if we can get by... Bro. Where's the... Okay. Let me just grab the code for rotating vector 2. Okay. Okay, and then we can add in offset. Okay. That's why. Okay. All right. So that should do it, I think. It should allow us to do some cool stuff here. All right, sliding. There we go. Okay. Then I should be able to rotate it by just saying the rotation is global game that time. It might be easier to see if the offset was not so aggressive. Yeah, okay. So it is working. What if I want the offset to be something? Does that change the rotation? No, I don't think so. maybe I have to move before rotating. Okay, I think that's more so correct. So if we don't have an offset, it looks like this. If we have an offset of half the screen size, it's like 320. 16.4. 160. Like that. Let's try that. That's correct. That's more so correct. It's centered. But I'm still getting some, you see those white parts? Like it's see-through? What I can do about that? I'm rounding it off. How is rounding it off even working? Oh, it's in pixels, that's right. Okay, that might be the best I can do for now. Yeah, it's probably fine for now. Okay, so we have rotation, scale, and translation, which is fine. I think that's good enough. Cool. Let's do, we could do something like, okay, not bad. Slow it down and make it not as noticeable. Okay, okay. Again, slow it down. We can rotate it. All right. Not bad, not bad. Cool. So now we want to make a frame for this. So we can say, let's make a collection. Like so. Okay. Cool. And then we want to make an image on top. The frame is, I'm guessing this, huh? 50 by, yeah, 48 by 0. Like that. Cool. And then can we make this a 9 patch? Cool. That's pretty good. Okay. Let's see. Next. what do we have? Display audio input. Okay. Cool. Okay. So you can see it takes up the entire space. We don't want to do that here. So we can say, once we do this, we probably can set the layout to be a grid. We set the layout function. Should we reset? Yeah, we probably should. Ah, but the layout has been altered. There we go. Okay, cool. Uh, bu- 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 Horizontal first false. Cool. Make it wider. Why isn't this centered? I guess it wouldn't be necessarily. Mm. Oh, that's why. Yeah. So right. Horizontal first. Better. Okay, so now how do I offset this? This grid system might need to be altered a little bit because I'm thinking now it might be better to provide well, it already has the size of the grid overall. But basically, maybe you could provide the size of the space. Well, you already have the size of the space. So maybe, given the size of the space, you provide the number of elements and their sizes, and it automatically arranges them. That's an idea. Because currently we are just providing the direction, initial direction, either right or down, and then the size of the elements. So maybe we just need to position it, I guess is the point. Maybe we just need to position the things that we have. Like this could be positioned better. This could be positioned better. And then we can add padding. And there you go. Yeah, because this is not going to work. Okay. Yeah, centering probably shouldn't work like this either. Let me think. Because I'm centering the buttons horizontally. You may not like it should I shouldn't do that in the code. I feel like it might be better for them to be filling the space. Let me think. Because I would like them to be usable for grids and lists. So let me mock something up with some Sprite. Okay, so I'm thinking something like this. Okay, so this is the rectangle that we're dealing with. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to position things in such a way where we can make a list of buttons like this, right? A list of buttons like this. Okay. A grid of buttons like this. Okay, so it should be able to do all of these. Because if we do this, but we can modify it, then we can make it, for example, thinner, shorter. Yeah. So you should just set the element size on only one axis. Or do we want to set the number of elements? Yeah, I guess there's a couple ways to do it. We're going to do it maybe this way. Okay. Yeah, we don't need to center it, I don't think. Per row. Okay, so the overall rectangle width divided by the number of elements per row gives you the width of each element. So then maybe horizontal first doesn't even need to exist, right? Because depending on the number of elements per row you pass, that controls how big each row is. So maybe, yeah, the total element count. And the number of elements per row. So you have 20 elements total, and there's 7 elements per row, 7, 14, 21. That's 3 different rows. Rectangle H. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's start off with this. Uh, 5 1 0 0 0 0. Okay, okay, we're getting there. So now we want to be able to, where are we? In layout, right? Yeah. Let's see. Let's see. Element index divided by number of elements per row. Yeah. Cool. So now let's go back over here to this. And let's say we wanted 10 items. Now it should make room for 10 items. Yeah. Cool. But now if we wanted more padding, let's say we wanted more padding. Let's say we wanted padding of 32. So well, actually, the cells are the same size. It's the element sizes that have padding implemented. Okay, okay. Element width, cell. How is this working the way it does? Why is it getting thinner over time? How's that happening? Yeah, why is this getting smaller? Isn't it? Because we're not setting the size of the elements themselves. Width is less than or equal to 0. So. I'm not sure why. Oh, okay, yeah, because this is the function. Okay, that's why. That's right, that's right, that's right. Okay. So this gives us padding. But it would be nice if it was positioned correctly, if it was centered. So what we can do is just add to this inner element padding x divided by 2. I believe that might be enough. Let's clamp the padding. Okay, that's better. So now we're drawing 5 buttons with 5 pixels padding in between them all correctly. Yeah, cool. Now, I'm wondering if it would be better if a layout function was a struct, because then we could more easily not have optional properties, because this is a little ugly. You know, where you have to set this stuff manually. It'd be nice if it was a little bit more optional. It's definitely doable. All right, so it's gonna be a little different. Let's just change the music again. It's a little bit of a banger. Okay, so the idea that I have is a layout func. Struct. It's an interface, rather. Right. Okay, so now instead of the function itself, it's just a layouter. Well, I guess we'd have a layout func still. Like that. Okay. I think this is a better setup overall. Okay, so now we just have to say L dot number of elements, L dot total, or elements per row. I guess we can do that. We can set that because this is a struct that is copied when this function is called, yeah. Okay. What would you call something that creates a layout? The layouter, I don't know. All right, let's try that. Okay. So this makes things a little bit easier. Oh, but what if you wanted a custom layouter? Well, I guess it's a... Okay. All right, something like that. Excuse me. Cool. Okay, so button list. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I knew that I need to fix this. So this is where we're gonna do some nice defaults. So for one thing, if number of elements is less than 0, we can set it to be 1. We can assume that there's at least 1. If elements per row is less than 0, again, we can assume that it's 1. Yeah. Oh, less than or equal to 0. Cool. Okay. So now if we wanted more, we could say, oh, we want actually 10 items per in this layout. And then it just makes the room. And then we say like, oh, actually we want more padding. Let's give ourselves 8 more pixels between them. So that does work. Now, yeah, I guess that's fair. You would just reduce this to 5. Yeah. So it's centered. Cool. Padding. Okay, so padding is just padding around each individual item. Does that make sense? Maybe. Number of elements per row, 2. Beautiful. UI, man. UI is crazy. All right, so that is essentially what we're looking for. I wonder if I should make, because this is a little awkward and the custom layouter doesn't really do anything. I'm gonna make a simple helper function that just makes this a little I can't do it like that. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Cool. So now we can get rid of this. Set custom layout. Cool. Very cool. Okay. So we can say, oh, actually, we have 3 elements. Beautiful. Did you see the way that... That's beautiful, dude. Beautiful. Looks incredible. What if we wanted to restrict the element height? Is it... Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. But we need to push them down a little bit more. So let's take a look at this code one more time. Grid. So it's the same concept as the padding. We just need to know the difference. Okay. I think it's doing it. Let's see. There we go. Perfect. All right, so now okay, well, anyway, that's fine. To be expected. Okay, so that's pretty good. I'm happy with that. We made astounding progress, in my opinion. Well, I guess I have to fix this real quick. I just have to go over here. There we go. Element height can be 48. Beautiful. Yeah. Oh, it's supposed to be 4. That's why. But why can't I see it? There we go. Cool. Very cool. Okay. So now, I mean, now we can do the same concept where, as before, where we can say like width, number of elements. Cool. So now the reason why we do all that is we can make a consistent layout for the entire for everything. So we can say, for example, like that. And then down here, we can say with element, well, oh, with number of elements, 4. That's beautiful. Now we can also set the width. So that's the concept. So for example, this area, we might want the buttons to be a little different, but the idea is that we can reuse this stuff very easily, which is very cool. Very cool indeed. Whew, okay. I'm going to call it here. I'm gonna call it here. Actually, I'll probably keep them separate for now. Yeah, keep them separate for now. Because these buttons can be a little bigger. Well, it's been real, dude. I've gotten a lot done. I didn't intend to stream this much. I was tired. I still am tired, but we got a crazy amount done, in my opinion. We've been streaming for 2 hours and 20 minutes. That's pretty good. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. I'm gonna call it here. If you want to check out Gooey, please do check out github.com/solarloon/gooey, Gooey. Excuse me. And yeah, check out what it can do for you if you're making games with Ebitengine. Still have to push this out, but as you can see, I'm like actively working on it, so I'm not sure if it's ready to be used just yet. But maybe I'll push out another commit to GitHub, so you can at least download it in its current state and mess around with it. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. I've been Solar Loon. I'll catch you guys on the flip side next time, Wednesday. Peace.